Good morning, students. So in the last class, we were discussing two scheduling strategies. One is preemptive and non-preemptive scheduling techniques, and we have also seen what are the different types of schedulers which are in practice. That is short-term scheduler, long-term scheduler, and medium-term scheduler. And we have also seen the functions associated with those schedulers. Right. So let us now in today's class we will discuss the last part of second module, that is threads, right? So what do you mean by thread? So before seeing this thread, we have already discussed when a process, or you can take a server, right, when which handles multiple number of tasks parallelly, right, simultaneously, you can say. So in such cases, the server will create a number of processes, like we discussed the concept of child process, right? So parent and a child process. Parent process always create a child process to handle different tasks, right, parallelly, you can say, right? Or when a complex process gets divided into number of small process or simple process, right? So each process will be handled, each simple process will be handled by a child process, right? So so on the similar basis, we are going to discuss this thread, right? And we are going to see what are the differences between threads and process, or what are the differences between creation of a child process or creation of a threads, right? Applications use concurrent process to speed up their operation, right? So when a complex task is divided into number of simple tasks, right, so these simple tasks are handled by the child process, or a child process, uh, which will speed up the execution of that particular complex process, right? However, switching between the process within an application incurs high process switching overhead, because the size of the process state information is large, right? So when it comes to a process, the process should handle number of tasks, like switching between the process, then scheduling of an processes, then modification of process control block, right? So all these tasks should be handled by a particular process, right? So in such cases, the switching, what you can call as a overhead associated with that particular process, will be very large, right? So to overcome that problem, or to reduce that overhead, we talk about this thread. We talk about this thread, right? So operating system designers developed an alternative model of execution of a program called a thread, right? So instead of creating a child process, or because of very much delay in handling the child process, the designers of operating system have come up with one more kind of a model of execution of a program, which is called as thread, that could provide concurrency within an application with less overhead, right? So whatever child process, or whatever child process perform the operation, right, so they also work, threads also work as a child process, but it incurs very less overhead. To understand the notion of threads, let us analyze the process switching overhead and see where a saving can be done. Process switching overhead has two components. To understand the notion of threads, let us analyze process switching overhead and see where saving can be made, right? So and process switching overhead has two components. One is the execution related overhead and a resource use related overhead, right? So we have two types of overhead in case of process. One is execution related overhead, when the particular process scheduled, right, what all overhead are going to come into picture when that particular process is executing, and when it requests for some kind of resources, right? When a process requests for some kind of resources, what all overhead we need to, or operating system need to take care to allocate those resources. So that the overheads are classified into two types. One is execution related overhead and resource use related overhead. The CPU state of the running process has to be saved and CPU state of a new process has to be loaded in the CPU. This overhead is unavoidable because operating system, whenever a CPU is preempted from one of the process and its state, the old state of the process needs to be modified because the operating system is going to schedule a new process, right? So operating system or the content of central processor unit, or you can say the program status word, right, that has to be modified when the processes are switched, right? So this kind of overhead we cannot avoid, and it is unavoidable kind of overhead. Second one, resource use related overhead. The process context also has to be switched, right? So it involves switching of information about resources allocated to a process, such as memory and files, and interaction of a process with other process, right? The large size of this information adds to the process switching overhead, right? So whenever we have already discussed the different fields of a process control block, right? So these all process control block fields need to be modified whenever the process is switched, or you can say whenever process requests for some kind of resources to the operating system, right? So this kind of overhead we cannot avoid in case of processes, right? In case of parent and child process picture, right? So now we will discuss how these overhead can be reduced by using threads, right? So moving to the next slide, consider the child process PI and PJ of a primary process of an application, right? So let us say one process has created two child process PI and PJ, right, to execute a particular application. These processes inherit the context of their parent process because operating system is going to allocate the resources to a parent process, right? These child process will inherit, or it will make use of those resources which are allocated to a parent process. If none of these processes have allocated any resource of their own, their context is identical. That means when none of the resources are allocated to any of these child processes, their context is going to remain same, right? So let us say if a process requests for some kind of resource, right, and if one child process wants some kind of some resources and other child process doesn't want any kind of resources, in such cases the context of each process is going to change. Each child process is going to change, right? And their state information differs only in their CPU states and content of their stack, right? Because the state of each child process is different. So in such cases the CPU state and as well as the content of the stacks or the system calls, you can say, is going to change, right? Consequently, while switching between PI and PJ, much of the saving and loading of process state information is redundant, right? So that is also extra thing. Whenever the child process, if the child process are dependent on each other, then we need to switch, the processes need to be switched between PI and PJ. So much of those saving and loading of process state information, these are all things are redundant, that means extra, right? So threads exploit this feature to reduce the switching overhead, right? So whatever we have seen now in these two statements, right? So that kind of overhead can be reduced when we use threads, right? So let us see the definition. We will start the concept of thread with the definition of the thread. What is the definition of a thread? It is execution of a program that uses the resources of a process. Execution of a program that uses the resources of a process, right? So process is going to create the threads and the process is going to request for the resources, right? So when the resources are allocated to a particular process, the threads will make use of those resources for their execution. A process creates a thread through a system call. right? So what is the system call? It is like calling a function. By calling a function, a process will create a thread. The thread does not have resources of its own, so it does not have a context. It operates by using the context of the process. It will make use of the environment which is created by the process and accesses the resource of a process through it, right? So directly the thread will not request for the resources to the operating system. Okay, it will the process will do that. Once the process requests for once the process gets the resources, the threads will make use of those resources. Note that threads are not a substitute of child process. The child process is not same as a child process. Child process is different and thread is different. An application would create a child process to execute different parts of its code, and each child process can create threads to achieve concurrency. Again, it is like a hierarchical structure, right? So first we have a process, then each that process will create a child process, and child process in turn they may create the threads, right? So even you cannot call child process as threads, because they are different concepts. Okay, so let us see, this is the figure where we are going to explain the threads in a process, the concept as well as how the threads are going to be implemented. Okay, so in figure 5.11, right, illustrates the relationship between threads and processes. In the abstract view of figure, process PI has 3 threads. Here you can see the process PI has created 3 threads, right, which are represented by wavy lines inside the circle representing a process PI. This B 5.11 B shows an implementation arrangement, how the particular thread is going to be implemented. That is shown in 5.11 B figure. Process PI has a context and a PCB. Context of process PI has a context and a process control block, because it is a process, right? It has to hold the lot of information about itself, right? So each thread of PI is an execution of a program, so it has its own stack and a thread control block which is analogous to PCB and stores the following information, right? So this is context of process PI, which you can also call it as PCB, right, which has memory information, resource information, file pointers. These are all things we have seen when we started this module, right? So along with this, it also has a PCB, which is process control block, right? So similar to this process PCB, we have a thread control block which contains following information. Which are those information? The first one, thread scheduling information, thread ID, priority and state. It is like a process control block itself, only the name is different. It is called as a thread control block, right? So similar to a process ID, the thread also has its own ID and its priority and state. States are going to remain same as we discussed in case of process. There were 4 states, that is running, ready, blocked and terminated state. Similar to those states, the threads also have 4 states, right? So this is the first information, thread scheduling information. And second one, CPU state, that is content of PSW and GPRs. PSW, program status word, and GPRs, general purpose registers, right? So even the process handle these kind of information. Third one, pointer to PCB of a parent process. This is very important one, right? Because process is going to be a creator of a thread, right? So thread should point to which process it is belonged, right? So thread will point to the parent process. And the last one, TCB pointer, which is used to make a list of TCB for scheduling, right? So even in case of PCB, we had a PCB pointer, like that we have a TCP pointer in case of threads, right? So which is used to make the list of TCBs for scheduling. Okay, so whatever content associated with the process, the same fields you can observe in case of threads. Okay, so moving to the next slide, we are going to see the advantages of threads over processes. So in this table you can see there are three advantages of threads over process. The first advantage here is the lower overhead of creation and switching, right? So creation of a thread as well as switching between the threads, it takes very less overhead. The thread state consists only of the state of a computation. Thread state consists only the state of computation. Resource allocation state and communication state are not a part of thread because they are the part of the process. So creation of threads and switching between them incurs a lower overhead. But in case of process, entire process is going to handle all these tasks, hence the overhead of a particular process is more. Second one, more efficient communication. The threads of a process can communicate with one another through shared data, right? But in case of process, the entire process needs to switch from one point to another point, thus avoiding the overhead of a system call for communication, right? So if two processes wants to communicate with each other, then they can be communicated with the help of a system call or functions, you can say. One process has to call the function which is associated with some other process, right? But in case of threads, they are going to be communicated with the help of shared variable, right? And the third one, simplification of design. Use of threads can simplify design and coding of application that service requests concurrently, right? So use of threads can simplify the coding of application, right? So if you compare the coding of application using a process, a concurrent process, you can say, that will be more complex compared to the threads, right? So coding using threads is very, you can say, simple and even time efficient, right? Because it is going to incur very less overhead. Next, we are going to see the three kinds of servers, that is how use of threads in structuring of a server, right? So first one is server using a sequential code. Second one, multi-threaded server. Third one, server using a thread pool, right? So in first case, each server is going to handle a request by its own, right? It will not create any kind of child process or threads, you can say, right? So one server is going to handle one request, right? So once that particular request gets over, then only it will switch to the other request. That is the first one, server using a sequential code. Second one, server multi-threaded server, right? So what server does in multi-threaded server, it will create one thread to each of the request, right? So each thread will in turn handle those requests, right, by its own, right? So in case of third one, server using a thread pool, so here it will create server will create a block of requests, you can say, and it will create a block of threads, and each block will going to handle that particular block of requests, right? So even threads are used while writing a code to servers, because server itself can handle multiple number of thousands of requests, right? So first one is very inefficient, because entire server is going to handle one request. After completion of that request, it is going to switch to next request, which is very inefficient, right? So instead of that, server can create a multiple number of threads, and each thread is going to access or handle that particular request, right? So we'll see two kinds of threads in next class.